Are you someone who often suffers from regret? Everyone has regrets in life, but not everyone is devastated by them. So why is that? Why do some people regret choices they make, shrug their shoulders, and then move on, while other people hold on to those regrets for years? In this video, I'm going to answer all these questions and explain how you can live your life with no regrets. If you find yourself suffering from regret, you should know that it is completely normal and healthy to have regrets. Everyone experiences regret in life. But what is not healthy is to allow regret to consume you, to haunt you. Regret, of course, comes in all different shapes and sizes. But I think where regret shows up most in our lives is when we regret choices we've made in the past. We wish we did things differently. And we regret and hold on to these choices we made for a really long period of time. We keep dragging our past with us into the future. And even though most of us do this, it's stupid. It's really stupid. That's like ripping your broken toilet out of your old house and then reinstalling it into the new one you just moved into. It doesn't make any sense. And we're not stupid. We know better. We consciously know it serves absolutely no purpose to hold on to the mistakes we've made in the past. But we do it anyways. No matter how much we try to tell ourselves not to, we still do it. Why is that? Sometimes it doesn't matter how much logic you try to throw at your bad memories. Sometimes you can't rationalize your emotions. They will continue to hurt you on an emotional level. So there lies one of the problems of why you have so many regrets. It's not that you make bad choices. It's not that you're prone to making mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone has regrets. But you hold on to those regrets because you are still emotionally attached to them. So if that's true, how do you let go of something that you're emotionally attached to? Could it be that if you learned how to let go of things that you were emotionally attached to, would you no longer suffer from regret? Well, before I continue, I want to ask a huge favor of you. Like, subscribe, and don't forget the bell. So the truth is, you don't actually suffer from regret at all. You suffer from the emotions you've attached to the memories of the things that you regret. And let me say that again. You suffer from the emotions that you've attached to the memories of the things that you regret. You see, regret is often expressed as an emotion like guilt or shame. You feel regret for things. But the way I view it is more like an action. When you regret something, you're basically just changing your mind about a choice you made in the past. For example, let's say you regret buying skinny jeans. It seemed like a good purchase at the time, before you realized how ridiculous they look, but now you realize that they're just stupid and a huge waste of money. So yeah, regretting a choice you've made in the past, in theory, is harmless. There's nothing wrong with changing your opinion about something. But the problem is when you invite regret to the party, along with it often comes a whole lot of negative emotions. And it's these negative emotions are what make regret so painful. It's not regret itself, it's the emotions that come along with it. It's these negative emotions are what make you suffer from regret and why you hold on to your regrets for so long. It's one thing to experience regret, to make a bad purchase and kick yourself for it for the rest of the day. But to make a bad purchase and then kick yourself for it for the rest of your life? That's a little excessive, don't you think? And quite frankly, it's abusive. It's abusive to yourself. Would you kick someone else for the rest of their life over one bad choice that they made? Probably not, so why do you do it to yourself? What is it about the way you view yourself that makes you treat yourself differently than you treat others? If you suffer a lot from regret, it's probably because you are really hard on yourself. It's because you probably have a bad relationship with yourself. You have a broken self-concept. And self-concept is a term that you may not be familiar with. It's basically the same as self-esteem. But in life, there are kind of two two versions of yourself. Your ideal self, which is the person you want to be, and your actual self, which is the person you actually are. And some people's ideal self closely matches their actual self. They want to act and behave a certain way, and then they go out and do exactly that. But some people, their ideal self does not match their actual self. They want to act and behave a certain way, but when they go out, they don't really follow through with what they wanted to do. So you can see how this difference in ideal self and actual self can create this inner battle, this resentment towards yourself for the things you choose to do. You might find yourself regretting a lot of the things you do because your ideal self is much different than your actual self. It's much better. The person you want to be is most likely a much bigger, better, stronger version of yourself. Your ideal self is the cool, popular prom king in high school, while your actual self is the nerdy loser with no friends. So you put these huge expectations on your actual self, and then your ideal self beats up your actual self when you don't follow through. And that's just not fair to any version of yourself. You need to be more considerate and kind to yourself. Because the truth is, most of the time when we make decisions and choices, we do it for a very good reason. We do the very best we can with the information and the tools that we have at that moment. It may not seem like a very good reason now, but what seems like a very good reason now may not seem like a very good reason in the future either. It's easy to, in the future, when you have more information, to look back at the past and regret what you did, to wish you had done things differently. But it's simply just not a fair comparison. Your ideal self is always going to be better than your actual self, just like your future self is always going to be more educated than your past self. So beating yourself up for the choices you've made in the past is simply just cruel. And the fact that you are being so cruel to yourself exposes the reason you suffer from regret. How you deal with regret really comes down to how you treat yourself, how you view yourself, your self-concept, your self-esteem. If you learn to treat yourself better, you will be better able to accept the choices you've made in the past and learn to live a life with no regrets. Now, every single one of my videos is open for discussion. If you agree or disagree with what I have to say in this video, please leave me a comment. I want to hear your perspective and your point of view. So the bottom line is, if you suffer from regret, give yourself a fucking break. Stop putting such high expectations on yourself. Stop beating yourself up. The choices you made in the past, you did the very best you could with the information and tools that you had. How can you expect any more from yourself? Forgive yourself and move on. Because whether it's your past self, your future self, your actual self, or your ideal self, either way, these are all just versions of you. And the more you look back in anger or shame, the more you regret the choices that you made, the more likely you're just going to make every single version of yourself weaker. We all make mistakes, learn from them, and move on.